Hello, MGTOW. Hello, men. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. So, I want to read the introduction to Sun Tzu's Art of War. It's very brief, and then I want to talk about the meaning of it a little bit, perhaps how it relates to current events. Introduction. Sun Tzu was a native of the Qi state. His art of war brought him to the notice of Ho Lu, king of Wu. Ho Lu said to him, "I have carefully pursued your 13 chapters. May I submit your theory of managing soldiers to a slight test?" Sun Tzu replied, "You may." Ho Lu asked, "May the test be applied to women?" The answer was again in the affirmative. So arrangements were made to bring 180 ladies out of the palace. Sun Tzu divided them into 2 companies and placed one of the king's favorite concubines at the head of each. He then bade them all take spears in their hands and addressed them thus: "I presume you know the difference between front and back, right hand and left hand?" The girls replied, "Yes." Sun Tzu went on, "When I say eyes front, you must look ahead. When I say turn left, you must turn towards your left hand. When I say right turn, you must face towards your right hand. When I say about turn, you must face right about towards your back." Again, the girls assented. The words of command having been thus explained, he set up the halberds and battle axes in order to begin the drill. Then, to the sound of drums, he gave the order, "Right turn," but the girls only burst out laughing. Sun Tzu said, "If words of command were not clear and distinct, if orders were not thoroughly understood, then the general is to blame." So he started drilling them again, and this time gave the order, "Left turn," whereupon the girls once more burst into laughter. Sun Tzu, if words of command are not clear and distinct, if orders are not thoroughly understood, the general is to blame. But if his orders are clear, and the soldiers nevertheless disobeyed, then it is the fault of their officers. So saying, he ordered the leaders of the 2 companies to be beheaded. Now the king of Wu was watching the scene from the top of a raised pavilion. And when he saw that his favorite concubines were about to be executed, he was greatly alarmed, and hurriedly sent down the following message: "We are now quite satisfied as to our general's ability to handle troops. If we are bereft of these 2 concubines, our meat and drink will lose their savor. It is our wish that they shall not be beheaded." Sun Tzu replied, "Having once received His Majesty's commission to be the general of his forces, there are certain commands His Majesty which, acting in this capacity, I am unable to accept." Accordingly, he had the 2 leaders beheaded, and straightway installed the next pair in order as leaders in their place. When this had been done, the drum was sounded for the drill once more, and the girls went through all their evolutions, turning to the right or the left, marching ahead or wheeling back, kneeling or standing, with perfect accuracy and precision, not venturing to utter a sound. Then Sun Tzu sent a messenger to the king, saying, "Your soldiers, sire, are now properly drilled and disciplined, and ready for your majesty's inspection. They can be put to any use that their sovereign may desire. Bid them go through fire and water, and they will not disobey." But the king replied, "Let our general cease drilling and return to camp. As for us, we have no wish to come down and inspect the troops." Thereupon Sun Tzu said, "The king is only fond of words and cannot translate them into deeds." After that, Han Lu saw that Sun Tzu was the one who knew how to handle an army, and finally appointed him general. In the west, he defeated the Chu state and forced his way into Ying, the capital. To the north, he put fear into the states of Qi and Cha, and spread his fame abroad among the feudal princes. And Sun Tzu shared in the might of his king. Okay, that's what I wanted to read. Now, this is a very short translation, okay? The important part here is the communication between Sun Tzu and the king, and the fundamental idea that having been given the responsibility of managing an army and then being out in the field in battle, that the general might have to do things. He can't wait for the king's approval. Once he's been given his orders, the general has to be free to act. And if he's not, then he's dealing with a king that is only fond of words and cannot translate them into deeds. The story is a metaphor. It's an allegory for how to handle certain things. Now, here's the thing. You are not the emperor of Wu, right? You are not the emperor of China. You are not Sun Tzu, neither am I. But you are in charge of your own life. You are the one who decides what to do, how to go forward. What if you were like the king was in the beginning of the story? In other words, he wants to give the responsibility of leading his troops to somebody, but then when it comes time for some discipline to be enacted or some price to be paid, then he doesn't want him to do anything, right? So it's the same as saying, you're not putting that person in charge of anything. You're not asking them to do anything. You're asking them to just follow your orders and pretend. And in a battle, it would never work, would it? You know what I mean? It's like you don't have time to send information back to the king and say, hey, they're trying to outflank me to the left. Can I move the important troops to the left? Oh, hey, they just unloaded a really nasty attack on these people. Can I get your approval to respond? See, there's no time. And you can't hamstring somebody like that. Like if you give somebody a job to do a job, you then have to let them do the job. Now, you can watch and you can, be involved and things like that. But if somebody has the responsibility, they need the authority. That's what it is, okay? And if you're working with somebody who wants to give you the responsibility, but they don't want to give you the authority, they're playing a game. So simply put, if you are given the responsibility of something, you need the authority to do it. And I believe that a good parent recognizes this. A successful entrepreneur is going to recognize this. Anybody who's highly successful is going to recognize this. Now, I'm largely talking about in the life of the individual, okay? As if you have these aspects of your personality, like the King of Wu and Sun Tzu. Let's talk about feminism. Check out my previous video, Respect the Vagina. And check out the part where the singer-actress is talking about, if you're going to rule the world in this manner and I don't approve of it, then I'm not going to contribute to it. If you're in charge and you're going to rule it this way, because it's talking about this issue right here. Who has authority? Who has responsibility? And what I want you to understand on this, as it relates to this particular issue, which is feminism, which is women complaining about men and saying, that it's a man's world and that, women are oppressed, right? The whole gist of feminism is that it's a play on authority and responsibility. The women they don't want to accept responsibility for their own lives. They want to say that men run the world and they don't like it and that they want men to do things differently when they run their own lives. And they're trying to take control of the world out of the hands of men who are sincere in their, taking the responsibility. Women are unfit rulers, even within their own life. They can't lead. Neither can a child. Some women can. Some women can lead their own life. But I mean, honestly, just take a look at it. Whatever careers they pick out, they usually want to quit by the time they're 30. By 35, they're very upset about it. And they're perfectly understandable too, right? You're just as good as a man. A woman without sexuality, she couldn't get anything done in the world. So the young, attractive woman, and, she's a career woman and she's highly successful at this and that. Go ahead, take away your sexuality. Go ahead. Say that you don't have, that going for you. And then ask yourself how successful you would be, right? And even right now, in this very moment, understand that I'm not allowed to use my real resources here. I'm not allowed to speak freely, talk directly. It would make too many people upset. In other words, we're not really competing. We've never competed. No man has ever competed with a woman the way he would compete with another man. Ever. I mean, he would have to be crazy to do such a thing. So this idea, when the woman steps forward and says, da-da-da-da-da, it's like, yeah, because the man is taking a step back and saying, let me hold that door open for you. And no, I don't want to fight with you. So the leading of the world, the political, social leadership of the world, women giggle when it's time to do things. Weak kings are more concerned with their food and their comfort than with their survival. Now, does any of this sound familiar? Aren't we facing similar circumstances right now? So I'm really curious as to who you guys think is who and what you think is what regarding our current political situation. So let me know about that in the comments section below. But do me a favor, don't waste time telling me I need to agree with you. Don't do that. Go ahead and share your opinion, that can be completely in disagreement with my own, because you'd be treating me kind of like the general, like making fun of the general, and I'm liable to chop off the heads of your favorite concubines there. Unless you want to compliment me, and then you can go ahead and please, by all means, do make it personal, because it's always a good time to show appreciation. It really is, for everybody in your life that you appreciate. So if somebody's doing a good job, take a moment and say, hey, you're doing a good job. I appreciate it. And it'll come back to you. So let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, donate, and join me again, Howard Dare, as I plan to have more content for you. Thank you, MGTOW.